day of January 2026. The town of Cardston acknowledges that we are located on traditional Blackfoot Confederacy territory. Are there any additions to the agenda? Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Councillor Self? All in favor? Perfect, thank you. So we'll go straight into our delegation. So we've got Brandon Jensen and Brock Deuce. If y'all would like to come up, we'd love to hear from you.
Is that right? So I want to be able to go through this, I guess just starting out, just to tell you the progress that we've had over the last, year and a half, probably. So we've had GIS for quite some time. I mean, even before I started. And I guess we just didn't quite see the potential that it had at the time, or maybe not, maybe the buy-in from some of the guys. But in the last couple of years, our guys out in the field have really seen a benefit of having this. So just kind of to paint a picture before we get into this is, in the past Curtis would often come to us and he's on call and he'd get called out at 2 a.m. and he's got to try to find a valve. And if he doesn't have the right mapping or whatever, then and if it's snow, he's trying to dig through the yards, trying to find a valve because he has not great mapping. And that's one example. And we've ran into that a few times where even though we have historical drawings and different things, those things have changed over time. You know, some properties have 2 or 3 curb stops even just over the years that it's changed. So as we kept running into this situation where we just needed better information, like I would have AutoCAD maps, but at 2 a.m, they don't have access to those. So, and the other problem is just getting the time to just update everything. How long did it take you? Days, months? Yeah. So I'd like to take credit, but it's all Brock that was the one that updated a lot of this stuff. So there has been a huge benefit. Again, this is a kind of a work in progress. We've got quite a bit of this stuff updated, but there's always more data to collect and just to update our records, just to get them more accurate as we go along. So I guess as we go through, I don't know if you ask questions throughout or at the end or whatever you want.
I will ask them at the end if that's okay. Thank
Okay.
you. We're not that old. Well,
Some of
yeah.
us are. Okay. I'll try not to go fast and make him jump all over the place. But so on the GIS mapping, we have all our menus, and the guys can now access this from their phones. They can pull this up. So they could be 2 a.m, they just pull this up, pull up the maps, they can turn on water or they can turn on any of those things and it'll bring it up. There is a feature where you can even push on it and it says, show me where I'm at. And it'll show you a dot where you're standing and then you'll see, okay, I got to move over here to find the valve or whatever. Again, if that data is correct, it's very helpful. If it's not, then we're just kind of chasing our tails. So Leonard and Ryan recently have just, I believe, finished doing up their survey on all their electrical. I think there's quite a bit more not showing on here, but he's got a lot of data on there. Anything from transformer, pole numbers, like he's spent a lot of time, those guys, to update that information. Again, I think this is not even showing half of what they have. This is, but it gives you an idea of all the work that they've been doing to put into that. So I guess moving on through, we have sanitary and storm. They're very similar. Another thing that we're finding is, so Curtis will go out and he'll camera some of these lines, and some of the lines are in good condition. Some of them are well, they're in rough shape. So when we go through budget time, we are always going back, oh yeah, you cameraed that. Where was those files? We're trying to find them. So we talked to GIS. We said, hey, can we just upload these videos? We won't go through a whole video, but he'll pull up a link while I'm talking just to show you some of the stuff that it can do.
All of the purple lines are the ones that. So when Curtis takes the video, he can put it on there and he can change the types. Time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then it'll show you what the types are. And just kind of get an idea. So if we ever need to go and look and see, we have the files easily accessible.
Sorry, my voice is going the moment I get up here, but with water, we've been able to do quite a bit as well. One of the biggest things is just trying to find the curb stops. You'll go out and a home needs to have a water shut off. We have data showing where it is. You go there and it clearly wasn't. It was a piece of metal or whatever. So then again, if it's, well, whatever time of day, but often it seems like it's midnight or something, you get called out and you can't find a curb stop. So you'll see on there all the red and green dots. Those are all the curb stops in town. The green ones are the ones that we either, is it all photos? We have photos and possibly service records. So service cards, when we're on site, we write down it's so many meters from property or from corner. Some of those records are, it says so many meters away from this rock and that rock's no longer there, so it doesn't really help us. But Brock uploaded, I don't know, thousands of these service records onto here, and then our guys, as well as Brock, has been going out and taking pictures, and that has helped them a lot. Like they can go onto a property, they pull up the picture, it's like, oh, I can clearly see it's right beside the sidewalk. They can go over there and find it.
Does the red dot mean you haven't found it?
The red dot is either we haven't found it or they haven't seen a picture for it yet.
So my house has a red dot on it. So
Yeah.
We'll keep that away.
yeah, there you go.
So the other thing is, the nice part is so you can move. I see the picture, I can move them more accurately. They are on the map themselves. And so if you ever need to, you can click on it. Have the JPEG of the picture. Here's your curb stop right there. A lot easier for the guys like us, we're having the same. Oh, you don't know where to look, and that helps me.
I know we looked at in the past, like if you could GPS it, then you know exactly where it is. But again, if any of our guys, they don't run the GPS, it's 2 in the morning and you're like, well, the coordinates are right there. It's pretty hard for them to go find a GPS, learn it, go out there and locate it again. So this has been a huge help for them, and it has saved a lot of time. Just, I can't count how many hours they've spent on some properties, even just where's the curb stop? You think it's there. Even our old maps say it's there, and then you find that they put in a new one on the totally other side of the house. So
Lighter blue that you see are pressurized lines. Darker blue are gravity fed water lines. And those are valves located throughout the intersections. So the ones that are light are the ones, or they're supposed to be, the ones that are open. So if we ever need to go back and say we had to do an emergency shut off, we had to shut off that whole block, we know how the valves were supposed to be beforehand, and we can make. That's a newer feature that we're working on, and I need to go. ties or valves. Red are all the different hydrants we have around town. Never need to know where they are.
Yeah. I'm sure some of you've had it where we've shut off valves thinking we're just isolating an area, find out that, you know, a few of the other valves were off, and now we've shut off half the town, and that's always where it's never a good thing. But so this is helpful that we can have that clearly mapped out. Just going through some of the stuff, and again, some of this we're just getting into, but I know with Randy with his irrigation stuff, he's had a few parks and stuff redone with irrigation. I guess it's just more digitizing a lot of his drawings. Like he has a lot of hard copies, so we've just been starting to put stuff in. So the town square is one.
Could you show us where the raw water lines are?
Yeah.
That's, and then I can change, we'll talk about this one later, about the ortho. Those are all valves that,
Bolts.
bolts. Those are all the
Pressure
bolts
bolts.
that we have going through there. And up to the Lee Creek one, and I'm still, but
Is that where we pump all? Is that where we pump the water from? Is all the way over there,
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the treatment center?
11 kilometers, I believe.
right on that line is, looking at a diameter of 1,066 meters. That's what we have right now for the. Also, we have the options. Curb stop pictures were, and so pull up the drawings for, I find it in the office files here, it's readily.
That little thing behind on Southwest Diamond, that's one of your stops.
Yeah. Yeah. Going on to streets, I think you guys have seen this recently with Leor, with all the updated street signs. I think we've updated all those. We just started onto sidewalks, so we're putting all those lines in there, so we'll know how many kilometers of sidewalk we have. But every spring we try to do a inspection of all of our sidewalks for trip hazards and even our roads and stuff. So one of the features are we can go and take pictures of all these things. We can upload it onto here. Then when we go, okay, let's go do all our trip hazards, or let's start doing them. We'll get into this later, but you can do a query where you say, okay, I want all the trip hazards. It'll spit out a spreadsheet that says, okay, you have probably 400 trip hazards or whatever it is. But, and then we can start hitting all those versus, we'll do that inspection in March. By the time you get, doing some of those trip hazards, you try to go through those notes that you had, and this has just made it a lot easier to do those things.
Had me drive around the last couple of years. Pictures of them all, but there was not a really way of uploading them all. So it's a lot harder to access them. Working on I just
Yeah. we put trails. You can see trails are in there. Those that he's still Jamie with Orsk. We keep bugging him with our requests. I think we drove him crazy the last year and a half, but he seems to like that we're using the program, so that's good. We're going to update more of the trails. I mean, we have quite a bit more stuff that we'd like to do with it. I'll just briefly go over capital projects we just added recently, and that includes like the snow removal route. We went through, like, we can update all the projects for this year. We could update for the next 5 years, all the different projects, and then whatever we would like to see or we want the public to see, he can select any of those things, and then you could have a link on the town site. People could click on and say, oh, okay, here's all the capital projects, or here's the snow route or whatever. And so it's nice where you can just contact Orsk. They can basically make whatever we want work, and it's been good so far. Cemetery, Shem has been doing a lot of updates on that. Again, just what's open, what's occupied, what's, just trying to update those records. We didn't talk about contour data, and it's a lot of information, but we have been using some of that for the cemetery. The cemetery has a few of the headstones that they're up and down, and so we're trying to just fix the grade on stuff. So I've used quite a bit of this contour data with the cemetery. We're still working on that stuff, but I find I've used the contour data quite a bit. It's not like you wouldn't use that for a final design on a road or sidewalk, but when you're looking at grading for the cemetery, it's plenty for what we would need. And then, sorry, I'm just jumping through these, but property, we can basically pull up a lot of different information, addresses, roll numbers. We could do a lot more too with that, and we have done a lot with those. You could upload. Some of them have real property reports attached to them. With development, you could even go as far as, because we'll get the development plans for a different property, you could upload those on there so that they're linked to that property. You can do quite a bit of stuff with this. I keep asking Jamie, is there a point where we put too much stuff, we just crash his whole system? And he says, no, not yet. So I think we're okay. Flood hazard mapping is one you probably would be interested in. That one has been updated recently. When you turn that on, it shows you the different levels of flooding in the fringe and so forth. And I've used that a bit just to see some of our weak areas in the town, areas that may be of concern or whatever that we need to focus on. But and you can even go on the scale and you can turn it up and down so it isn't so overpowering. You can kind of see what's behind it and what's being flooded out, I guess. And then we went through the ortho, and I think Jeff, maybe you've even brought this up. I've used the ortho quite a bit, where we know there's a service, we can't find anything, but you can go through old orthos and you can see where an old ditch was. You can see where somebody dug through with a backhoe, and I don't know, I guess you can show them, you can just switch between the different years and you can see the changes that has taken place. And I think this got brought up, there was an old well down at the
Did you find it?
found it on the camera or on the photos, but I don't know if Randy wants us digging in his ball diamond yet. But
This is just kind of like an example. So on the bottom left here, it shows you the 2025 to 2025. So I can, sorry. So that one.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
Yep. Yeah. Way back in the day.
Those, yeah. I used that actually quite a little bit when I was trying to plot road So you can still see where the trenches were, you can still see the manholes before they got covered in brush.
And then I guess jumping up top, there's and even Brock can talk about a bunch of those, but Query is one that we recently used a lot. So we had Stat Canada wanna, or they gave us a survey that just required a lot of time. They wanted to know every pipe in town, what year that every pipe was put in, what the condition was, and that's pipe, sidewalk, buildings, parks. Like it was, when we looked at it, we were a little overwhelmed with how much they wanted. And then we said, well, wait a minute, we've been updating GIS. Let's jump on there, and I mean that saved us days just going on there. So a query you can, I guess you can show them, but a query you can go, okay, I want to know all the pipes that are over 50 years old. So you put that in there. It gives you a list. Okay, you have, I guess you can do that and show you.
And it shows you all the pipes through.
So at the top, you see water pressure main 155 at the top.
Look up all the pipes that we have, and you can export all that information to an Excel sheet, and have to figure out the total length. So with the sidewalks, that's what we had to do. We did a query for all the sidewalks that had a length in it, over to an Excel, and then we were able to use Excel to get all the sanitary, water, storm, anything we have in on the sheets. A lot easier to friends and proper information.
And I guess I missed it at the beginning, but you could see there when we put the lines in, you put the year they were installed, the type of pipe, the size of pipe. I mean, any of those menus on the side, we could add anything. Like if we wanted to know what color it was or whatever, he could add that, and we could have it a pull down or typed in or whatever. So basically, Jamie said anything we can dream up, they can do. He just has to figure out how to do it. But he said most of the stuff he knows how to do. So, so that was just, I don't know if that was a quick overview, but
Awesome.
that was, you know, the highlights of what we can do. Again, there's lots more that we still would like to do, but it's been a huge help in the last few years. And we've got, like I said, our guys in the field. I've always worried, you know, with technology and everything. And once they saw, hey, I can find a curb stop in less than 10 minutes, let's start doing that more often. So I think we said over half our curb stops have been located with pictures and everything. So it's been good.
I would say on behalf of our council, thank you. This is fantastic. This information just seems like puts out, I don't want to say fires, but bear with me, puts out so much information that's just quickly available to the workers. That's great. So thank you. Thank you so much for your work. We've got Councillor Selk and Councillor Kinley.
So, Brandon, if I want to buy a small piece of land west of town here for my future, you can tell me what's available and what's not available in the cemetery?
Oh, yes, we can.
Yeah,
Jump over to the cemetery.
you can pick your spot
While
right
he's moving
tonight.
to that,
I want to see what the view is.
what part is any of this available to the public? Can anyone look this kind of stuff up?
They do have a public website that you can get. You can find it on the town of Cardston. Is integrated that into the main.
But like the details of things probably aren't public, correct?
There's
Yeah.
some that we like Leonard's information and
Yeah.
the employees of the town, but there is stuff that people Like they can see, oh, my curb stop's here, but they don't have access, like,
The
to
details.
move it,
Okay.
or to mess with any of the information. But
Would that
that's
be
something we
under?
talk to Jamie about. Leonard stuff we can't touch anyway. Leonard still can, but we can.
And,
We can tell Jamie what we want.
yeah. So we have the main page on our website, but he also said if you just want, like wintertime, you just want the snow priority route on our town page, he can make a separate link and make that's all they see is just the snow route. Like it's pretty versatile what he can do.
And so each color represents a different already claimed or
being used
Temporary.
temporarily.
I feel it's pretty permanent. Nope.
There's a resident in that one.
yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, when you come in, you talk to Shannon.
You see one you like, Counselor?
I-
There's a nice tree there. Trees. Any other questions? Council? Any other questions? Counselor Smith, Counselor Winder.
Oh, I just think it's amazing. It's too bad Calgary didn't have all this information.
Yeah.
Enough said. Counselor Winder.
Did you have to have like a meeting with everybody on how to run this? Like, or are you doing that with the workers of?
Like how to run the whole, like
Yeah, like how to get
access.
in and look for things and.
They've known a little bit about it, but I think Brock's spent a lot of time with them too. Like it's nice to have all this, but if nobody uses it, then it's just. But yeah,
A lot of the guys are afraid of change or new.
Yeah.
Right when we got it on the iPads, it was easy for them to pull up, and like Brandon was saying, when the guys go out there and look for a curb stop, they're like, "Oh, this is so much easier. Just click. There's a picture. Great. And why didn't we do this sooner?" Scared of it because it's new. But once they've seen it and see the use of it, then dude, it's setting them to us. They're with the wall and trying to find a curb stop app. No clue, it's actually in the back of it.
Awesome.
Just to
Jeff.
Councilor Winder's question, Old Man River does training quite a lot too, like virtual sessions for training, so how the functionality of investment, property information, taxation, so we have all that on every property as well.
I was thinking it'd be a good thing to have like a big meeting for everyone and show things like this.
Well, because ideally it's about the buy-in,
Yeah.
right? Once they understand the buy-in, all in.
You're paying us a
Awesome.
lot of money for this.
Any other questions?
And you could tell when, I'll pick on Dooney, but you could tell when he bought into it because all of a sudden we had tons of photos coming in. He was just bringing photos after photos. So
I love that.
yeah.
6 or 7 every day. Brock, did you upload these pictures?
I better text him to get to my property.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon and Brock, thank you so much. We appreciate you coming to council. This is amazing. I had no idea that it was this detailed. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're grateful to have you working for us. So thank you. Have a good evening. All right. We're just going to move right along. We're just, 1 minute away. Look at us. You bet. You bet. Next up, we've got Sean Miles from Alberta Southwest Regional Alliance. He's going to come up and talk to us. Welcome.
Everybody? Hi.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
I'll get that again, yeah.
Welcome.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You bet.
My name is Sean Miles. I'm the Investment Development Director for Alberta Southwest Economic Development. And I've been in that role for probably about 6 weeks now, 2 months now. And I just wanted to stop by and kind of give you a bit of an idea of what we do in Alberta Southwest. And just kind of get a bit of an orientation for, I don't know if you have new council members on council this year, but might be helpful for that and kind of get an idea of what we can help you out with and maybe get some information from you guys as far as where we direct our focus over the next little bit. So a little bit about us, 25 years in existence. So Bev Thornton's been the executive director for that entire 25 years. She started it off as a fledgling not-for-profit very long time ago. She's won, along with her team, some of the contractors she's had over the last little while, countless awards. I've got a handout that I can leave for you, but it just tells you all the projects and some of the stuff they've done in Alberta Southwest over the last little while. So pretty neat stuff. And actually, anecdotally, I was quite surprised when I came in because I thought, oh, it's 15 communities, it's 40,000, stuff like that. And I've worked with Calgary and Lethbridge and so forth, and lots of activity. When I came in, I was quite surprised at the level of interest and the size of the businesses that we're inquiring. So there's a couple of businesses right now. There's one that, and one of the things that we do as an economic development agency, we sign NDAs with some of these companies. We kind of help them navigate the landscape. And in the next little bit, I do anticipate an announcement the next month or so, which of a company that does hundreds of millions in sales, or they will be over the next 5 to 6 years. I'm being optimistic here. Of course, I hope this happens, but I was surprised at stuff like that happening over the next little bit. So particularly as soon as I come in, it's just there. So lots of interest. 15 member communities, of which yourselves and the county is a community. I was just talking to those folks yesterday morning, so I had a quick chat with them and about some of the projects and so forth. 40,000 almost in population as far as people served in the communities. 1,615 tourist-related businesses, which is very interesting. So again, I guess to take a step back in the context, you can see the map up there, but it goes all the way out to the Rockies, to the BC border, and includes the Rockies and so forth too. Alberta Southwest was the first actually internationally accredited economic development agency in Western Canada, so the AEDO, and then soon thereafter, organizations such as Southgrow and some of the other ones also obtained those accreditations as well, so that's pretty cool. And the budget is quite small, $200,000 a year for Bev herself, and then some of the administrative pieces, and then they have the grants and stuff on top of that too that they get. As far as procedure here, I'm happy if someone just wants to dive in. I don't know if you want to save them to the end, but if you have something that's fresh on your mind, please interrupt me. That's absolutely fine.
We will. Thank you.
Okay. Hopefully I'm smart enough to figure this out. There we go. So what are the kind of things that we do? So journal investment inquiries, like I suggested. So we get things that come in that don't necessarily go to the communities right away. That's been our experience a lot of the time, is that they'll come in with an idea and say, hey, which of these communities fits? And we might do an inventory and kind of do a quick look on what makes the most sense based on very specific criteria. We get those coming in from the province as well. We just got 2 or 3 in the last couple of days about, what was one of them? One was a data center. I can't remember what the other one was, but we get those as well from the province. So we respond to those on behalf of the communities. And sometimes they don't even get to the communities because we do sign the NDAs. And a lot of times the communities aren't willing to sign NDAs to have those conversations with them. So that's an interesting piece of it as well. We do vet companies a little bit because we also don't want them to be wasting people's time. And it's not like we have a moral authority to understand the best business that can come in to any of the communities, but there are some basic business 101 pieces that they should have in advance, probably before bringing things in, or we'll plug them into the right people to have those conversations. It's certainly not a smoke screen or anything, but there's some pretty wild stuff out there that might take a few years and you might not want on your plate in the immediate term. New business support. So obviously investment attraction is big. Those are the sexy pieces where the big company comes in, creates lots of jobs, lots of revenue, lots of tax base. But also we know that most of the revenue comes from existing business. So 80% of tax base, new tax base, typically comes from existing businesses. So a targeted, surgically targeted, I guess, in business retention and expansion strategy is pretty important to understand what's there and have those conversations to see where they might want to expand and maybe even bring them a resource or make that connection or plug them in to see if there's any opportunities from existing, because that tends to be the easiest way to increase tax base as well. Some of the other stuff that we do, regional strategy. So obviously with 15 communities, there's a lot of interesting things going on that everybody might not know about. So one of the things that we're exploring, I'll talk about in a second here, is regional aerospace and aviation. So for example, there's a lot of talk about that with the Department of Defense is doing a lot of procurement right now, because basically through some of the geopolitical pressures of having to spend more on defense over the next little while, they have taken that up. But what that, how that translates is they're actually going to spend a lot of that in investing in our own companies. So that also meets the criteria of investing in defense. So what's happening is it's creating a lot of contracts, and it's creating a lot of opportunities for local businesses to participate in defense that maybe haven't participated before. So things like that, as far as strategy goes, we can kind of piece together some of the disparate pieces or bring that information to companies and look at creating clusters and so forth. So before I got on the tangent about the defense, I was talking about regional pieces and strategy. So for example, aerospace, Claresholm has manufacturing for aircraft. They have flight training for aircraft. I know that there's some assets here and a push here as well. So we've got Fort Macleod, we've got Pincher Creek, we've got Claresholm, and of course we've got Cardston. So what are the unique little niches that each community has, and how do we communicate better to make sure that we're leveraging and then creating a bit of a potential transport corridor there. Opportunity assessment, I talked about that. Making connections, just who's out there talking about stuff, and who do we need to connect to make sure we have the right information to take advantage of opportunities. So from a government perspective, we know the grant people. We talk to them regularly. We connect companies in with them all the time. And sometimes we can kind of, I guess it would be calling going under the radar, but ask them those kind of, hey, what do you think about these guys, and what would they need to do to actually frame this to get approved for a grant kind of thing. And then we can bring that back to the company, help them fill that out, and then there's a better opportunity to get them approved instead of just doing a green kind of application. And research and cluster development, like I said about aerospace. We've only got a couple slides here, so I'm talking a lot on each side, but there's only a couple, so don't worry, don't. So what's going on for development right now? So over the last couple of years, they've developed inventories and assets on three key elements here. The first one is manufacturing, energy, and agriculture. So basically did an inventory, talked to industry, and they've got some reports. And we know that reports sitting on a shelf dusting doesn't do a darn bit of good. So my job in the next 2 years is to come in and actually create some investment attraction from these elements and create some leads, have some conversations, and see what we can bring in for increasing tax base over the next little while. So MECAP's number one, manufacturing, energy, and agriculture. Number two is, tourism. And the last one is, again, it's agriculture, just framed a little bit differently. So it's energizing agriculture transformation. So some neat assets there. So I have to take those and see what we can do in the region with them. So what are my current deliverables? So I'm a contractor for the next couple of years here, and I've got these are the high-level deliverables. So we're just in the process of getting really specific and explicit as far as what we're going to do. This will give you a bit of a flavor for it. So regional comms plan and strategy, what are we actually going to do? So that's things like the aerospace. I'll talk about medical tourism in another one in a second here, which is really interesting, and I think there's a connection to the Cardston area with medical tourism perhaps as well. ID investment opportunities generally. So what are the top 20, 30 investment opportunities? A regional readiness strategy. Is everybody ready to actually accept new business coming in? So do we have the people in place? Do we have the process, procedures, and the policy? If someone comes in with a dynamite presentation, can we actually take them, or are we going to detract from them coming in because we have too much bureaucracy or don't have the right connections for that stuff? So a readiness strat. Digital assets for the region. We've procured a company to look at, basically, it creates automatic business investment profiles with the press of a button is the real easy way to say it. But with AI developing over the last little while, obviously, there's a couple companies that are jumping right into economic development. So we are going to be piloting that through our not-for-profit over the next little bit. So we might be coming and showing you guys how that works and testing it out and so forth. And aside with that, as I think there's going to be a lot of players in that market right away, and I think it's going to be really easy to do that stuff. So they're going to have to get their foot in the door really quickly, and we'll also see how that goes. But there's also other digital assets. Some of the smaller communities, their websites aren't that great. They might need a little help with that. Maybe we get shared services and we have a couple more centralized suppliers, so that type of stuff from a digital assets perspective. Events, promo, and profile. What kind of new events can we offer? What kind of events can we promote that you're already offering that we just get more leverage and more bite from right across the region? Investments secured, obviously. I had a tough time. I wanted to put real specific numbers to this, maybe not quite yet, but I wanted to create 100 new jobs and 10 investor-ready profiles and stuff. But honestly, we get a couple of businesses, 100 jobs isn't going to be that difficult. So, and then I don't want to say 10,000 jobs either. So I'm in the middle of making a commitment to that. So hopefully you guys will see that in the next little bit here. Engaging stakeholders, obviously, this is part of it. We'll be sending a survey out. I know everyone loves surveys, but just in case you have something else you want to say beyond these conversations and through Paula on the board and stuff like that to kind of get your 2 cents in. And also looking for new grants and funding. So one of my goals is to have 2 applications into Prairies Can, at least expressions of interest. One from Alberta Southwest that matches my grant because we have to have matching dollars. It's paying for me. And then some kind of cluster grant that comes in from a community. Because when they go in from the community, they don't have to be repaid. So we can actually leverage that and bring some companies in and get some attraction for business. So if we get some good assets rolling through these grants, then we can make it a little bit more attractive. So emerging opportunities, regional aerospace. I talked about that a little bit already with the defense and also with the 4 airports and airfields. Medical tourism is a super interesting one to me. I spent 8 years at Alberta Medical Association doing, one of the last couple things I did were new physician funding models. So we did physician funding models to make it more attractive for physicians to be here, but also to enhance healthcare. So what that was basically instead of a fee for service where you just pay for every single transaction comes in and you're ripping out and spending your time just for that dollar, you get paid for the number of patients you have on your panel that you take care of. So what that does, lets them take a deep breath and take a little bit more time for the patient. So better care and also different compensation model. But with that, I have some good contacts with some of the clinics, in particular in Pincher Creek, because they're one of the first clinics that went on this new model called blended capitation. And they've got some OR operating beds there that are empty. So we started talking about a conversation, or dusted off a conversation that happened a long time ago about, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could attract investment and people from out of the country to come get medical procedures in Canada? And I understand that there's been some of that work in the Cardston area already, more aesthetic potentially, but there's an opportunity to do other stuff as well. What helps with that is, I think it's Bill 11, and that the province has just recently made it more viable for docs to actually work for the government and also do private stuff. So what that could look like is, realistically, if our dollar is 40% cheaper for the Americans, our procedures are mostly quite a bit cheaper than in the States. We could have the whole Pacific Northwest coming up and poking around for a hip replacement or whatever else that might be. So we want to look into that as it's kind of maybe a little bit more blue sky, a couple of years away at least, but stuff like that is an emerging opportunity. We know that Northback's going out Crow's Nest Pass, which is the mine, obviously. Whether people like it or not, no opinion on that personally. Well, maybe I do, but not for here. Not to get into that conversation. But if it does come, which it looks like it likely is, if it passes all the regulatory hurdles and so forth, there's a significant amount of procurement that would go to the region. They've already reached out to Fort Macleod and some of the other communities. So I attended a session with those folks a month or so ago, and I'm going to follow up to see if we can actually get a very specific connection with them so we can get an inventory of all our companies and make some real specific dollars flow to our 15 communities. I talked about the defense contracting, data centers. I can mention to you because it's reasonably public. They're not really promoting it, but Pincher Creek, MD of Pincher Creek has a really amazing opportunity. They're probably the most ready for a data center in the province. And that could be a pretty significant investment opportunity as well, because what they've got is they've got the carbon sequestration underneath, so they can pump all the carbon underneath from a green perspective. They create their own energy for it, which is a mandate of the province. And they've got the wind for cooling, and they're going to use some, I think it's called brown water, something like that, to cool it down. I'm still learning about it myself too, but I've got briefs and all that stuff. Be happy to share if you're interested in any of that information. And value-added ag, the big new company that's coming in is value-added ag. So lots of cool stuff going on. So for today, second last slide before I give you my email address is just some things to think about and maybe some further engagement over the next little while. So how do we best update you? How do we best communicate? I don't need these answers today, obviously, but just to kind of plant these seeds. Are there certain channels we can leverage together? Like we've got a channel, we've got other companies with communications channels. How do we synergize those instead of being a little isolated sometimes? Ideas for comms, how do we do that? Community readiness, how ready are you to respond to inquiries? What could you use? Perhaps there's some things in other communities that we could bring here as well and kind of share. Are there specific support tools? What's the investment focus from a strategic perspective over the next little while? Are there 2 or 3 big things? Do you have some local companies that are about to take off? And I'll find out soon enough, but as we're having these conversations, maybe we can expedite some of the stuff. And connections and funding. I get a bit of an idea of what you're working on from the minutes and through the board and stuff like that and so forth, as far as letters of support and influence and advocacy and stuff like that. But we're here for that stuff too. And there's a couple examples where it's worked really well. We've had letter writing campaigns where we had national letter writing campaigns. So for an Indigenous project we did, and we just had people write to their MPs right across the country for, it's called Indian and Northern Affairs at the time. And I only wanted $150,000 and they said no, but as soon as the letters started coming in, I got the check within. So that kind of stuff. So if you're working on stuff, let us know and we'll share and trying to help you out with that stuff. And lastly, shoot me an email, text me, I don't care, anytime. Even if you have a little question about, hey, have you heard about this or what about that? I get that stuff all the time, and that's how we kind of keep the wheels of communication going, is just those little small, it doesn't have to be a big formal meeting where you sit down on Zoom or anything like that, just bring it forward. And if I don't know, I'll send it to someone else and we'll see if we can figure it out. So with that, thanks for having me. Any questions? Fire away.
That was a great presentation. Councillor Court, you're looking like
I
you
have
got
a few.
something. Go ahead.
I was on the board for quite a few years. You mentioned Bev, and she's a fantastic person, but she's probably got another couple of years, and she basically started this program. And what is succession looking like down the road? Another one is, I know there's no more government money for RETAs, and so where do you see yourselves in 2 years? Is there going to be money enough to run this program, or are you going to merge with Southwest or anything like that? And again, I've thought about this for a while, and I know there's some good benefits. I've enjoyed the meetings. I've enjoyed talking to the guys from different. But why should Cardston stay in? We're 60 kilometers south of Fort Macleod, and most of the activity on this board is Highway 3 and Highway 2.
Yeah.
So the question is, what is Cardston getting out of it? We don't really use the business. The county does, the business licenses, but we have I think 2. So the question for council is, why should we stay? Why not just go with South Grow?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. couple things, so a couple of questions there, kind of double barreled as far as questions go. So succession, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just new. Bev is kind of near the time.
Bev has indicated a couple of years of her, probably.
Yeah, so it could be, and we haven't had those conversations. She's in passing said, hey, maybe I can be administrative assistant at some point or something. But I don't know if that, I mean, we're just joking around with that stuff, so I would never, I guess it's on record now, so whatever. But I mean, yeah, that's for her to figure out, I guess. In 2 years from now, I see more partnerships, actually. I see more sustainability partnerships over the next little while, the next 2 years, and more diversified grant funding and so forth. I think there is opportunity for business support. So one of the things I'm doing in the next little bit is I'm going to Northback, and they've got some deep pockets.
Yeah.
And how can we help you guys out, and how can you guys help us out, kind of thing. And how do we make those connections? Because let's be honest, I mean, what's the population of town of Cardston?
About 4.
Right? So what's the payment? $4,000?
Well,
Something like that?
plus 25%, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're over 5
40.
now.
Yeah. So I should say this on record, but if we can't return 4, 5, 10 times that dollar amount in the work that we're doing for you, then maybe it's not worth it, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
And that's where one of the things that we're looking at with the study and the comms piece is what's our value proposition? What's the return on investment with some hard numbers on it? There'll be some soft numbers in there, obviously, but what does the work do equate to an economic multiplier? And that's what I'm going to be working on in the next little bit. So
I do know that they used to send out a thing about what they did for Cardston, and most of it was tourism based.
right.
And the book that you have referred to there, and a few things like that for advertising. But as far as actual businesses here, can't think of.
Yeah.
Again, Pincher and Fort McLeod are in a perfect spot there.
Yeah.
Claire's home. I'm just wondering if we can return 5 to 10% or return, that would be
Yeah.
great. But
Well, I think this is where the rubber hits the road with me coming in, and not that I'm a super savior or anything like that, but I mean, they've invested
I
to
met
me.
you when I was on the board for 8 years. So
Yeah, well, I just been here for 6 weeks, right? So my job is to bring tax base and investment attraction very explicitly as my role. So if I don't do that, or we can't do that, then reconsider your options. Let's be real, right? Like, why would you blow your money on something that's not?
Well,
Okay.
if I can, Counselor. So that's what I essentially said at the last meeting when I voted against them taking the cost up.
Right.
I voted against it. I was the only one that voted against it. And because my council, that was agreed to. And because we represent, 3,765 people. So we have to look at what is our investment. You can look and say it's only $5,000, but you're still paying for a counselor to go and all the other things. And as much as we love the meal and we love the round table, but the round table discussions, I truly do love.
Yeah.
It's like Counselor Court said, it's really about, what are we getting out of it?
100%. Yeah, that's what all this.
The rest of council, any questions?
I also thought that we just found out from policing how much that's going to cost us over the next 5 years.
Going up.
30%,
Everything is.
whatever it is. So
Yeah.
money's starting to be a little bit tight. That's all.
Yeah, it's been super interesting too. You look at some of the macroeconomic predictions about whatever we used to do, we can't keep doing what we used to do, and we got to do something different. And it's perfectly reasonable to be questioning everything when it comes to the dollars. I'm not going to hand money over for something for nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Well, any other questions, council? Go ahead, Councilor
Just
Winder.
being new on the council this year, I guess my question was, maybe you've answered it with a couple of the other towns you talked about, or maybe you can't because you're just newer. Just an example for me of something that this organization has done for a local town that's benefited them or really put a positive spin on their town and benefited them. Just an example of what you've done in other places.
yeah, so I guess really specifically, I've been talking to BRC Airplane Manufacturing and CFI Flight School. So we've been navigating connecting them to grants to be able to pay for some of their new capital assets out of the airport. And this is just the stuff I've been involved in. I can give you a handout. There's a list of all kinds of stuff, and I can make sure Bev gets really specific on that. So trying to get dollars for the capital assets. And one of the things we're doing when we apply for this grant from Prairie Scan is to do this regional aerospace strategy where Willow Creek / the town of Claresholm would apply for X millions of dollars that would funnel through to help support these companies to invest to attract new businesses that surrounded them. So that's something we're specifically right now. I'd have to go in through the list, and to be honest, you might have better ideas than I do, actually.
Gives them an idea, though.
I know the business licenses work for a lot of the communities. The business license, the regional business license, I think it's $100 or something.
Yeah.
And you go anywhere, and the community was getting $80 back on that or something like that, or maybe it's 20, I can't remember exactly. So some communities it's been quite beneficial. It's helped the county, but here in Cardston, the business stuff just hasn't gone.
Yeah, and that's super practical stuff too. I wish Bev was here to comment because I'm thinking big picture here too because I'm new, but
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming, and we're happy to have you. And if we have any questions, we know where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. I'm totally open to it. So thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
Drive safe.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
great night.
much. All right, Council, we will keep going. So, 4A, did you all read the minutes? Anything needed changing or anything? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Councilor Johnson, all in favor? Thank you. All right, let's go to 5A. Friends of the RCM donation request. So let's go there. Go ahead. Yes, if you can, please.
Sorry, just cleaning up a little bit here.
You're
So
good.
in your package, you'll see a correspondence between Mr. Hennessy and myself. So the Friends of the Remington were recipients of a large donation from the town last year. Mr. Hennessy has since been here, and Mr. Bevins came and spoke to their efforts. What I wanted to get clear with Mr. Hennessy was everything spent last year? The answer was no. And the question then was, are you looking to retain what was unspent plus another $5,000 for 2026? And the answer was yes. So just as I also put in the background, we did not budget for that in 2026. It's not currently in the budget. So if council wishes to support on any level, we would just need to let them know we have to discuss that before we set the mill rate. And I'm just looking for some feedback on that.
Councilor Kenley and then Councilor Court.
Jeff, did we not tell them, or did they not tell us that they were not going to spend that? We were going to carry it over to this year. Was that not what we just said to them?
So
they weren't going to spend any because they couldn't.
Right.
And we said, okay, we're allowing you to carry it over into our next budget, which they haven't.
Sure. But my conversations with Mr. Hennessy, I tend to feel a little different. That's why I emailed him, and I wanted to get that very clear. Of what now, not to say that's what you have to do. I'm just saying that's what their expectation.
I'm just saying for the new counselors, that's what happened was they couldn't have the event because I don't remember the reason for it. They couldn't get riders or something.
Drivers.
They had asked for a donation last year, which we approved, and then they asked to carry it forward. And so that's what I thought we were doing.
However, their intent was to do the development program and spend that money in the development program, which they didn't spend at all.
Councilor Court.
I have two thoughts on this. I see that they're planning for 2026, and all of a sudden they got 10 drivers and they're ready to roll. Last year they couldn't do it because they needed to train these riders. And I don't think they've all been trained in 1 year. That's one thought. And the other one is, do we have a breakdown of what they actually use the $3,000 for?
So it's part of the overall expenses in Mr. Hennessy's spreadsheet there, but it isn't explicitly saying your 5,000 went to this. No.
Okay.
Councilor Salk.
I'd be much more comfortable giving the the Friends of the Remington Carriage Museum money if they came forward like the Historical Society with a long-term plan on what they're gonna do to help promote that facility and promote events. I mean, quite frankly, I was really impressed with the Historical Society and what their intention is. And, you know, we kind of talked, and I even joked a little bit about it last week, that maybe they could show them how to do a strategic plan. I just think, is this it? We're going to limit our strategic focus for the Remington Carriage Museum to mini chucks that'll run once in the summertime. That's it.
Any other comments in regards to this?
So
Mr. Winder?
are you just thinking whatever they didn't spend, we just top that up to
Well, they want an extra.
$5,000?
They want an extra 5.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of the question. Either we give them another 5, or we just top it up with how much they didn't spend to the sum of 5.
So we can give
By
them.
might, you're not obligated to give them anything.
Great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I actually checked on this before we came up because Jeff and I needed to get it right in my brain. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
So the request, like you just said, Counselor, is the $5,000, right? That's what they're asking. There was about a $2,000 ish of a rollover. And so this council, we can say back to them whatever we would like, but we can say, yes, we'll give you an extra 5. So now we've given them 7. Or we can say, well, we already gave you the money. You've got $2,000 left. Godspeed. Or those are essentially the two options. That's kind of where it's at. So this isn't budgeted for. We don't have the funds allocated in our budget for this. So I guess the question is just, is there any decisions around the table that you're wanting to give them an extra 5, which would then give them 7 to go towards this event? Or are we requesting that they look elsewhere in the community or the county or wherever it is, that we are not their main focus of funding? Thoughts, Counselor?
So again, if they get $7,000, what are they gonna do with it? Is it for training drivers? That's what the focus was last year.
It's for the event.
They won the event this year,
That's right.
So this would be towards the event, not training anybody.
that's my understanding.
Have we donated that much in the past to putting this event on?
No.
Okay.
Counselor Smith?
Well, and I've been to the mini checks. I'm not sure what the expense is. Is it?
Paying the riders.
It's just paying the riders. So
I'm sure insurance and
Well, it's in.
because
how
isn't
much they
there
were
a
paying them.
fee that you have to pay when you come to watch it too?
yes, there is.
So they're getting money in from that.
So about half of the expenses is
So it actually says the
$2,000
donation is
yeah.
needed to help pay for the promotion, drivers, instructors, and equipment, and any other costs involved with the running of this event.
So they give $2,000 per driver, right?
Yeah.
That's 20,000 right now.
yeah. I'll just.
Go ahead.
I would be okay with supporting it this year. This is just me. Obviously, I'm one person. On the 2 stipulations that they do go talk to the county about potentially donating to this, as well as, like I've always had whenever we've donated money, is having them come back to us and lay out how it went, what your future plans look like, just stuff like that. That's my. And if I'm the only one around here that agrees with that, I'm totally fine with that as well.
Okay. Any other thoughts around the table?
So if it's not budgeted, where's it coming from?
That's a great question. What are you cutting?
That's what happens, right? You
Yeah.
take a little from here, you gotta take a little from there.
I personally, sorry, Counselor Smith, go ahead.
But I'm just kind of jumping ahead, and it seems to me that if we just took what they didn't spend, topped it up to what they were asking for this year, that should be it for.
So you're saying give 3.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I was
Thinking.
getting at about. Yeah, top it up to the 5, and there's your $5,000. You didn't spend $2,000 from last year, and
So then there's another thought, if I can. Then there's another thought, and that would be cut it in half. We've already given 2. county could then give 2, and now they've got $4,000. Because, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Counselor.
before maybe we could table this before they make a decision and see if, and maybe ask them if they've gone to the county.
Counselor, go ahead.
I thought he said that they had.
It was, the ask was, have you gone to the county?
Oh.
The question though is the
Didn't-
county putting in?
Gotcha.
I don't know that. I don't have that information. Counselor, go ahead.
The only question I have, Mayor, is that, so if we don't pony up the money, is this event not happening?
Yeah. Hold on, Counselor Johnson.
I personally would like to see this event happen
Oh,
again to
It's
see
a
what we can make of
fantastic
it.
event. Yep.
And because it does bring in people, and it's a good community event. So, I'm kind of like Councillor Kenley. I would like to see this happen, but maybe just difference, get the rest from the county if necessary.
So you're saying what? You're then saying give what?
The 3,000 like was proposed.
So
by
3,000
council.
and then plus the 2 that's existing. Okay, Counselor Smith.
I was just in agreement. I'd really like to see the event. It's fun and it brings in people. So we do want the event.
I'm ready to
But-
make a motion if you want.
Absolutely, go for it.
I'd make a motion that we give the Friends of the Remington Society $3,000 more to help with their event.
In questions, and I have one on that motion, would it be reasonable to throw into that motion that this isn't a regular occurrence of funds? That
I would take that friendly amendment.
I think it's important, and we would also like them to return back on our $5,000 total was spent like Councillor Kenley said. I think that should be part of the motion.
You getting all that, Shem?
Sorry, were there any other questions, Council?
I was just gonna add if that could be added, because I always like, when we're giving money, I always like people to be accountable for what's going on, and if they don't want to take the time to come present, then I'm done with them.
I have no
Jeff.
problem with any of that.
Couple of things. Thank you, Councillor Kenley, to your point, that is in your new policy.
Okay, cool.
And so we'll make sure that's
I don't
clear.
need to bring it up every time.
You're welcome
That's
to.
great.
It's a good
We
reminder.
love
There's
it.
certainly no harm in it, but just for your own comfort, we will try and make sure that's first
The policy that we took
foremost in the policy.
4 years to figure out.
That's right. You worked on it all term. It's there.
Okay.
The second thing I just wanted to mention, and it is highly probably inappropriate and unusual for me to recommend a friendly amendment to a council motion, but in this case, it would also be pending budget approval
Agreed.
because it's not in the budget. So I just think that's a qualifier that they need to be aware of.
I'll accept that amendment. From one of the councillors must have made that, right?
I'll make that up. Yeah, I'll make that
Councillor
amendment.
Kenley. Okay. Any other questions or amendments, friendly amendments that need to happen? Okay, seeing none. All in favor? Thank you, Council. All right, moving right along. Other business. So we will go to 6A, follow up from previous delegations. So our Sergeant Bob Wright from the RCMP came and told us all the things, all the goings on in Cardston, things that they're working on. Happy to see how one of them turned out, as you can see in his notes. Is there any questions in regards to this? Seeing
I
none?
didn't get in. This was not in my.
It's,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. It's,
Yep, 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Come on, counselor.
Hey.
Perfect. So then we're going to go to the Rebecca Burnham. In regards to that, Counselor Selk, go ahead.
I would suggest that we just table this until we know what the legal logistics are with all of the stuff in the basement.
And I would also add, we haven't had our strategic planning session. It's next week. I feel like we're already talking about what the goal is for the Civic Center. So either way, I agree that we should table it. Counselor Kenley?
I was just gonna say, can we not talk about this? Sorry, can we table this to
Yes.
till our next meeting? Probably.
Well, until council decides what we're moving forward with. Yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Perfect. So moving right along, we will go right next into our Chamber of Commerce. Perfect. Brett Stewart came and pitched, did a fantastic job, answered lots of questions, brought lots of information. So what it boils down to, and he's got it listed as you can see, is they're wanting five things essentially. He says our ask of 2026, finding a way, support with finding a way to hire a part-time office person to manage. Anyway, y'all have read through it. Jeff, did you have anything you wanted to add to this?
I just want to give some administrative context
You
and
bet.
then leave it to you. And I appreciate the presentation. A couple of things just to be clear for especially the new counselors. In those requests, the town hasn't ever been a partner in hiring someone for the chamber. That's not something in my time, and I'm 16, 17 years now, that's ever happened. I think there was some idea that Patty might have been at the time, but she was never an employee of the town. We were never contributing to that. So it's not to say we shouldn't. I'm not trying to paint that picture. I'm just correcting to say that we haven't historically. And then a couple of other things just on the information for businesses. Now that's, again, not necessarily something that we can't entertain, but unless we get consent on our business license applications to share that data with a third party, we cannot share that data with a third party. Right? We can share certain things they consent to, but I can't just give over those databases. Now, we can change the application and they can consent to that and all that can happen. But under the Access to Information Protection and Privacy, we can only use the information for the purposes we collected it for, and we don't explicitly state we're going to give it to third parties.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it can be overcome. It can't be overcome tomorrow,
No.
But it's something that if council felt that was valuable, we would, and some of those people may say no.
Yeah.
I couldn't say. I don't know why they would, but they may, and we would have to respect that. So we would have to change the way we collect the information to be able to give it to a third party. And other than that, I mean, I think you can look at the other things just on their face and go from there. I just wanted those two
Perfect.
items.
I appreciate that. Counselor Kenley.
I was just gonna say, one of their asks was something that we probably can't make a decision on tonight.
In regards to the
Civic Center use.
Civic Center,
So-
for sure. Yep. Yep.
I don't know if we're able to talk about half of this ask, or should we talk about the whole ask and not talk about it tonight?
I think we're going to talk about all of the ask and know that, like you just said, I mean, number 2 is we would like to establish a solid summer market and location, which I think is fantastic. This past year, they used the Lions Park for the outdoor open market, and it was great. I went to it. But of course, go figure, we had some good days and some bad days because the wind, obviously, right? And their pitch was, of course, they want an inside permanent location to have it. I agree. I think that's fantastic, and personally, I would support that. Councillor Selk, are you?
I think part of the ask from the chamber, I get the whole, the use of the gym and all that, but I think part of it is they would like to use the Civic Center, namely council chambers, to have. I just got an email from Community Futures, and they have 4 lunch and learn series that are held on Thursday for the next 4 months, where Community Futures and the chamber are partnering together to help all the businesses in town have these lunch and learn things. So I'm assuming that part of their ask is, can we use council chambers for our lunch and learns at no charge? I don't know.
So
I'm looking at what they're doing, what Community Futures is offering for lecture series, and I think it's probably a beneficial thing to the businesses.
personally, I love and I'm all about the supporting of the local businesses that way. The trick for us, I would hope you all would agree, is having the cash to put forward. In kind is easier for us to say, we can give you our building and we won't charge you the amount it's going to cost, rather than we can give you cash to then go out and hire somebody. That I'm struggling with. But I personally am in support of the series that you just talked about. I think anything we can do to help our businesses, give them information, give them everything that they need to succeed in Cardston. We'll let Councillor Selk finish and then Councillor Court. Go ahead.
Yeah, just to clarify,
Yeah.
Mayor, I think I understand where you're coming. No, we're not in the business of helping hire employees for you.
No.
As far as this series, as I understand it, Community Futures is paying for these.
The rental of the building.
Well, no, they're paying for the guests
Yes.
that come and lecture.
Yes. Yes.
As far as the rental in the building, I don't know what the chamber is asking, or if Community Futures is covering that cost. That I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Councillor Court.
Yeah. Well, one thing you kind of mentioned it, they would like a town employee to be part-time with their, that's up to Min, and that kind of bothers me a little bit because then you're taking on a whole new, not that I think
Portfolio.
Patty was wonderful, but I don't know where they got the money for her.
Yeah.
And the second thing is just, we just had a presentation from Alberta Southwest. Is it more feasible for us to put that money with our chamber than with them? There's money has to go somewhere, right? So if it was me, I'd be more inclined to say, okay, let's top up the chamber a little more than Alberta Southwest because they're local and they're working right in the community. So just my thought.
Just to be clear, we are locked in for a year.
By your side, I know that.
Yeah. So we're locked in for another year with Alberta
yeah, I know.
Southwest. That's already happened. Check's already been spent.
Yeah.
Councillor, Councillor Johnson, Councillor Kenley.
I know that it's not part of their ask, but it did come up when they made their presentation that they don't have representation from council on the chamber. And I'm almost thinking that that could be a more valuable thing to them long run, to have representation from this table to help them, to promote them, and to advocate for them possibly, or present their ideas to council. I don't know if that's ever happened in the past, but I don't know why this committee doesn't have representation. Because it is an important part of our.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Councillor Kenley, just one sec.
I was going to ask, I should know the history of this, but why did the market ever leave the ice rink? Yeah, like my question is like, is that available in the summers now, or is there? I know there was something.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of context there.
Okay.
Counselor. Hold on, let me see if I can summarize it quickly. So different group. It was under the Ag Society that was doing it at the time. That it was in the rink.
Yeah.
And they just then they came here for a season.
Yeah.
Please don't hold me to all this exactly, but we were there, and then they came here for a season, and then that group just didn't do the markets anymore.
What I'm saying is that like when I was younger and it was at the rink, I just felt like it flowed way better, and so I always wondered why they left the rink. Obviously, it's a different group, but maybe that's an option.
Yeah.
So.
No, it certainly is an option. Yeah, we talked about that last year when the chamber was looking for location.
Yeah.
And again, I want to be clear administratively, we weren't opposed to them being here.
No.
They didn't request to be here.
Yeah.
And so when they showed up at the door, we were accommodating, and we got a couple of the sessions here. But that wasn't ever the ask last year. And so remember, in all these asks, it is the space and time, which is usually fine depending on what's in here, but it's also usually the request is for no charge.
Yeah.
As well. And again, that can be fine if that's a way we can help. So as long as the expectations are clear going into the season.
Yep.
But yes, the rink is usually an option that time of year, Councillor.
Councillor Salk.
Well, I think since Councillor Johnson brought it up, maybe he should be appointed to the chamber as a council representative to keep council.
Well, I didn't volunteer, but
I know that, but you know, someone's got to do it.
I'm just want throw it out there. Is there an appetite for that?
Well, let's see. No, you look like the logical choice.
So Councillor Winder.
Is there a reason why there's not a counselor on?
So here's what I can say. Typically, and you know this, majority of you, that the reason we have counselors on boards or committees is because we have money in it, right? So, I go to Alberta Southwest because we pay $5,000 a year to be a part of them. Each of you is allotted to 1 to 2 boards. And each of you, the boards that you are on, you represent council, you return and report, and you let us know how our taxpayer dollars are getting spent within there. So essentially, that's what it is. I think it's important, and I did reach out to a couple of my mayor friends in Southern Alberta because I really wanted to know, do other Municipalities, are they working, paying for things with chambers? And I heard back no, that they're not. Do they help them with projects? Like the chamber comes and says, we're working on this project, we would like you to help us get a grant or funding or something. Yes, they're doing that. But as far as, day-to-day occurrence of it, that's not happening in other municipalities. Now, that's not to say it can't. And Councillor Johnson, I would say I was the counselor previously on council that went to the occasional chamber meetings. I did when I was invited, and sometimes I went and reported from council. And I think that was great, and they were fantastic, and I want to support them. But I don't know that we need a counselor full-time to go there. But that's your decision as council. So let's just go through this. Number one, number two. We're just going to go through them all, and let's come up with how we're feeling. So number one is there any support at the table to help them hire, put money towards a part-time position?
No.
Okay. Number two, would you as council agree to looking at options of helping them with a summer spot location?
Yes, and
Go ahead.
they also suggested for a Christmas market too.
Yeah,
So,
but they're markets.
yeah,
Yes.
the markets. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
So would y'all agree to that?
Yes.
I too would agree to that,
On to
Councilor.
that, I would like to know if Community Futures is funding that. I don't know how we can find that
I
out.
mean, the
Oh,
meeting.
no, funding. They're not funding this. They would be funding the
They're not
lunch
funding
and
their
learns.
markets.
No,
to-
no,
oh,
no,
okay,
no,
okay.
no. Sorry,
They're
that's
funding their lunch and learn.
lunch and learns. That's totally separate. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing for number two is yes around the table.
Mm.
Okay. Number three, would they would like? Well, we've already talked about the business information. We're happy to give them what FOIP will allow us to give them, but it kind of ends there. But we could, on our business license that happens every year, we could put a box on there in regards to, would you be okay with us allowing your business information to be shared with the Chamber of Commerce? I personally wouldn't have a problem with that, giving the businesses the opportunity. Would you support that?
Yeah, because then it's their choice.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not, well, and legally we can't.
Yeah.
So I would support that. So that's number three. Number four, trust. We need mayor and council's trust and encouragement in all sectors. I mean, yeah, we're all about helping them.
Yeah.
I think, judging by how we've been talking, I would hope that that's felt. And number five, they would like Christmas. So they would like council's input on what we could be doing better or new ideas. The Christmas coupon book program has been great. The Festival of Lights Committee worked with us in promoting it this year. It was a great evening, and I would agree. The wind, it was a fantastic event, even with that horrible wind. The businesses that had hot dogs, I think all of that was fantastic. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say on this one, the only thing that worries me is that I don't want this to turn into eventually down the road that the town is running these things.
Agreed.
So I am happy to give advice. Well, I'm not me personally, but maybe the administration of
Yeah.
how things can be run better.
Yeah.
Or done, but I don't want us to be slowly things and events are put into the town's hands to run.
I think something that is important too, we brought up previously with the Remington Center, is it's the same thing.
Yeah.
When people are asking for funding, are we committing lifelong to this funding? Are we, because I think our goal should not be that. Our goal is to help get things going and enough that they can then take over. That should be our goal.
Yeah.
Councillor Smith.
I don't know if this is the right spot to bring it up, but I've had a request from somebody about the Chamber of Commerce doing a directory, a town phone directory. Apparently they used to have one in 2009 or 19 or something, and now with everybody having cell phones and no landlines, it's difficult because if you're not in the East Stake, you're not in the West Stake, well, then it's hard to get back and forth. So this person was saying, can we not get the Chamber of Commerce to do a directory and then sell it? I mean, I'd be happy to pay $10 for a directory. and Chamber could bring in their money for that.
So I think we have Caden Wood here. I'm sure he's taking notes. So that's not for us. That's for them. But that's a great something to bring up.
Right? Sorry.
Go
You're talking are they talking directly for like businesses
Cell
or are
phone
they
directory person,
personal?
business and personal, really. Business and personal.
Absolutely not.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that's not a thing. But
Yeah.
anyways.
Okay. So I guess administration, in regards to this, do you want a motion saying the things that we are willing to support, or how would you like this? Because they've given us so many. It's like yes, yes, no, no.
No, I've got some pretty good notes here on the conversation, and I think what we should do is let us take this away,
Okay.
and then come back with specific things that would require motion to act on.
Okay.
And we'll vet a couple of these things a little bit. What are the
Yeah.
logistics? What would the cost be if we
Right.
do this? We'll get all that put together in a backgrounder for you.
Yeah.
And now that we kind of know the direction you'd like to go.
Yeah.
And we'll bring that back for some concrete resolutions.
Okay. Counselor Court, final question.
I just think this one's a breath of fresh air after what's been going on in the past. And
Absolutely.
so we really want to support our chamber as much
Agreed.
as we can because we know what can happen if it don't have a strong chamber.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think they're doing a fantastic job. Absolutely. All right. So moving right along, let's go for a couple more minutes, Counselor, if we can. So let's go to 6B, Intermunicipal Communications Protocol. So this one's a fun one. So 6B, so sorry, just gonna bring it up. So essentially we have, administration is requesting feedback on this matter, whether we wish to go ahead with this. I thought it was funny because when I read it, in all of my years on council, we've never once done this. And I talked to Jeff earlier about it, and he said, well, that's because the first 4 years, this wasn't in there. But even in our last 4 years, never once did this. I personally think, so what it is for the newer counselors, so essentially it is us having a meeting. No, it is us breaking bread with the county.
Like a meet and greet.
Meet and greet. That's all it is. It is sit and bond and hang out and
Pizza party.
yeah. Well, let's hope it's a little nicer than that. But yes, I'm thinking charcuterie. Anyway, I think it's a great idea. I think we, just like the chamber, we need to build strong relationships with those around us because together we're stronger. Right now, we happen to have a fantastic relationship with the county. I would hope it stays that way. So I am in support. I would like to, yes, Councillor Kenley.
Go.
Do it.
No, you do it.
No, you do it.
You wanted to.
But you should.
All right. I'll make a motion to direct administration to pursue this event for us.
Yep.
Sorry.
Any questions? That's exactly what I was going to say.
I bet it was.
All in favor? Thank you. All right.
Mayor, you do have food here if you want to take a break or get through the other business.
I would, yeah, I think that's what. Council, y'all good for a couple more minutes? Council Court? I know you're clocking me. Okay. Let's go to 6C, recommendations from CCW. Can I get a letter to approve the letter to the new Siksika? Go ahead, Councilor
I'll
Court.
make that motion that we send a congratulatory, I got that one right,
You did.
letter to the new chief and council of Siksika Nation.
Absolutely.
Congratulate them on their
I thought we
new
did that
appointment.
last week.
We did. We made a motion, or we directed administration because we couldn't make the motion. So
Oh,
we've
'cause
now
it was
got the letter.
Because it was a whole community thing.
And we
Gotcha.
needed a letter.
Yeah.
So now we've got the letter. Questions, Councillor Selk?
No.
Perfect.
6C number 2, let's just take administration's advice and we'll be done with this.
Okay, hold on.
Let's
I
go
got
to
to
vote
vote,
first.
Councillor.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Okay.
just trying to speed
You're
it
so
along in the
excited, and I
essence of
appreciate
time.
that. You're killing it. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Now, Councillor Selk. I'm sorry, what was that you spoke?
Just going to follow administration's advice with respect to 6C number 2, and we're done with this.
Yeah, there's nothing more that needs to happen there. Okay, and committee and other reports. 7A, we've got the CPO report from November and December. As you can see, things were hopping and going on. Any questions in regards to it? Okay, 6B, the Q4 development report. I thought it was great to see building happening. I think that's like
Yeah. that was a lot.
Counselors, we have seen zero numbers in years past in that area. So go ahead.
I just want to make one quick comment because it always trips me up to some of the residential properties are under that commercial category. So the Cottonwood,
Yeah.
that's actually under commercial. So when you see the 2.4
Yes.
million, the 1.6 million, that's probably permits on that second set of homes there. So I actually wouldn't mind moving that because it makes the
I agree.
residential starts look a little better, but it was put through as a business.
Is that the one on the road to the golf course?
At
Yeah.
7th
Okay.
Street. Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
just off
So there's not a large commercial entity going up that we
No,
don't know
they
about.
haven't. Those are made up of those units. Yeah.
So while you're up there, let's talk. So we're going right to 9. We'll go to Honorable Mike Ellis.
Oh, boy.
Sorry. Yeah.
All those policing.
Yep. Please let's chit chat about that.
So just some quick comment from administration's point of view, and if I could just grab my paper.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I got it right here. As you see, there was a number of pieces of correspondence that came out about the policing model. So the province has decided on the new funding formula for policing for communities that are under the provincial policing contract. That's us. And pretty much anyone under 5,000 is under that contract. So as you know, we have gone from not paying anything for this service 4 years ago to we're at about $214,000 now a year we're paying. And based on their formula now, we're expecting that to go up 58% over the next 5 years.
Just the worst.
And you can hear former Mayor Cronin coughing about that. She's so upset about that number. So we expect that to be 58% higher in 5 years from now. And you know, this has been debated now for almost 4 years, and even a few years before that, the debate started. And I don't know if there's an opportunity. I'm not here to suggest that you mount a massive political campaign. I don't want to say that ship has sailed, but this has been debated for a long time. There's a couple of things with the formula that I'm not crazy about from a small community, but I understand it. And I guess I would just, if you want to pursue this politically, if you want to see if there's an opportunity for any type of last minute appeal, I'm sure that position is shared by many of your colleagues of similar sized communities. Alberta Munis has been on top of this for years. 2 of the letters in there are from them. And so they are advocating for the communities on your behalf. And I think that's a strong advocacy. So, you know, it's not great. We kept hearing rumors about this 50-something%, and then sure enough, here we are. So it's unfortunate. It'll be quite expensive for communities our size.
1 second, Councilor Winder. Councilor Kenley.
I was
and
just
then
gonna
Councilor
say,
Winder.
would it be prudent of us to maybe write a letter about this and just it's how it's unsustainable for small communities, just our disdain and disgust about what's going on, like.
So I vote yes to everything you just said. I brought that up with administration, and one of the thoughts was, you know, it's been done. There have been so many sent with the Alberta Munis, you know, speaking on behalf of all of us. It's on deaf ears, obviously, by the letter and our frustration. So
I still wouldn't mind sending another one
I would have no problem.
and maybe getting a few more towns on board.
Well, another suggestion,
Go
Mayor,
ahead.
is we can take the Honorable Mike Ellis's letter, light it on fire, and send the ashes back to him.
So, you know, you're full of options, and, you know, that's one for sure. I would prefer to maybe go with Councillor Kenley's on that. So do you want to make a motion in regards to that?
If he wants to say something.
My question
Go
was
ahead.
just what do we do? Like, what are our choices? That was my question.
Suck it up and pay.
Yeah.
So that
Go
was
ahead.
my
Yeah,
question.
I don't know how to word this properly with getting more like towns with me,
Just that.
but
Just that.
okay, so I'll just make a recommendation to have administration send a letter to the Honorable Minister of Policing. Is that his thing?
Yeah.
To Minister
Mike
Ellis
Ellis.
about the unsustainability of the costs of policing and make it sound really good about how much we don't love this,
Should we
and sending it to similar communities of our size in
supportive letter?
to get support of our letter.
If I could just talk to the whole thing for a second here.
Okay, just 1 second. Councillor Kenley, that's your motion?
Yep.
Okay, Councillor Court.
I'm just looking at it interesting where they say the new vacancy subsidy we're always short two staff members, it seems like.
Always.
But then they qualify by saying higher than the provincial average. So is everybody, are we always short, where we just keep paying money, and nobody has enough policing, but we keep paying the full amount?
Right.
Yeah, my thoughts.
Counselor
I just
Kenley
wanted to
and
add,
Counselor Salk.
and maybe in that motion, how I don't feel the formula is proper. I mean, that might
Okay.
just appropriate, it might just be specific to our community, but,
It's just not appropriate. So friendly amendment.
well, what I'm saying is like the calls for service. It's, anyways, you guys know what I'm going at with that, but just to maybe the formula is maybe not appropriate for smaller communities to be added in that. So,
Counselor Selk, any on the question?
Just a comment more than that. It's just, I think what they're getting at with the provincial average is that the northern detachments in this province have a harder time having staff, a full staff, than even we do. So that's why they're taking the provincial average of who's short and who's shortest.
All right, Counselor Kenley?
nope.
Okay,
Let's go.
all in favor? Perfect. Are we,
Oh, sorry, my bad.
okay, all in favor? Yes, we're all good, okay, good. Moving,
Spaced out.
finally, we will go into miscellaneous Christmas cards. Fantastic, we're grateful for them. Can I have a motion to take a 15-minute break?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
I didn't forget.
I'll have a motion to come back in.
All in favor? I have a motion to go in closed session.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Thank you.